Have you ever just watched a hawk circling way up there? Or seen a hummingbird just stop in midair? They're living in the same world we are, but they're seeing something completely different. So let's dive into the incredible science of how birds see and try to get a glimpse of the world through their eyes, a reality that's painted in colors and details we can't even imagine. So let me just start by asking you this. What if you could see colors that are totally invisible to everyone else? For most birds, that isn't some kind of science fiction plot. It's just how they see the world every single day. And here's how they pull it off. Most birds are what we call tetrachromatic. Now, that just means they have 4 types of color-detecting cells, or cones, in their eyes. We only have 3. And that 4th cone? It's the game changer. It lets them see ultraviolet light, which unlocks this whole hidden layer of reality, patterns on feathers we can't see, glowing trails left by prey, even signals on fruit that basically scream, "Hey, I'm ripe." Okay, so seeing invisible colors is one thing, but what about having a built-in zoom lens? Raptors, like eagles and hawks, have this incredible feature in their retina called a deep fovea. The way this pit is shaped literally magnifies the image coming into their eye. It gives them a kind of visual sharpness that is just staggering. We're talking about spotting a rabbit from a mile away. It's a biological superpower. But it's not always about having laser-sharp focus. Sometimes it's about having total awareness. Think about a duck, with its eyes way out on the sides of its head. Its field of vision wraps almost completely around its body. Now, if you're on the lunch menu for a lot of other animals, that panoramic view is an absolute lifesaver. It lets you watch for predators from pretty much every direction at once. So the question is, how on earth did evolution build such an advanced piece of biological hardware? Well, believe it or not, it all starts with something really basic, the actual shape of the eye. See, a bird's eye isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It's perfectly tailored to its lifestyle. A little songbird has a pretty flat eye. That gives it a wide view, but keeps the weight down. A hawk, on the other hand, needs a big, round Globose eye to create a huge, sharp image. And then you get the owl. Its eye is this totally bizarre tubular shape. It's basically a light funnel, built for one thing, hunting in almost complete darkness. But wait a second, how do you keep these really weird shapes from, deforming, especially under the g-forces of flight? Well, birds have this amazing solution, a ring of bony plates inside the eyeball itself called scleral ossicles. It's like a tiny internal helmet that holds the eye in its perfect, precise shape no matter what. But here's the thing about evolution. There's always a trade-off. For the owl, those incredible tubular eyes are packed so tightly into their skulls that they can't move them at all. They're completely fixed. So what's the solution? Well, that's where that famous almost 270-degree head rotation comes from. If you can't move your eyes, you'd better be able to move your head. All right, so the shape is impressive, but now let's go inside the eye, because the internal hardware is just as specialized. And honestly, this is where things start to seem almost alien. I want you to meet the Pecten oculi. This thing is one of the most unique and frankly weirdest structures in the entire animal kingdom. It's this pleated, comb-like thing that sticks out from the back of the eye, and its job is to solve a huge, fundamental problem with vision. Okay, so in our eyes, the retina is covered with a whole web of blood vessels. They're necessary for oxygen, sure, but they also scatter light and create blind spots. Birds just got rid of them. The pecten acts like a remote control life support system. It pumps all the oxygen and nutrients the retina needs from a distance. And the result? A perfectly clear, completely unobstructed view. It's an incredible evolutionary cheat code. So now we've got this perfectly clear image hitting the retina. So how is all of that light actually processed? Well, it all comes down to the specialized sensors that are fine-tuned for seeing day or night. It really boils down to 2 types of cells you've probably heard of, rods and cones. It's pretty straightforward. Cones give you that high-def color vision in bright light. Rods are all about sensitivity, for seeing in the dark. And if you look at the ratio of these cells, it tells you pretty much everything about how that animal lives. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Take a look at the kestrel, a daytime hunter. Its photoreceptor layer is pretty thin. Now, look at the owl. Its layer is more than 3 times thicker. It is just absolutely crammed with those super sensitive rod cells, soaking up every last possible photon of light. But it's not just about the type of cell, it's about the sheer density. How many can you pack into a tiny space? And that brings us to this number, 1 million, which is, frankly, almost hard to believe. So get this. That's how many photoreceptors are packed into a single square millimeter of a common buzzard's eye. For comparison, we have about 200,000. That's a 5-fold difference. That is the secret to their legendary razor-sharp vision. It's just raw data-collecting power. So when you start to put all these pieces together, you've got the specialized shapes, the incredible internal hardware, that insane density of sensors, you realize you're not just looking at simple adaptations anymore. You're looking at the building blocks of a completely different reality. So it all really boils down to a few key evolutionary masterpieces. They see in ultraviolet, which turns the world into a landscape of hidden signals. Their eyes are custom-built tools for their specific job. They have the Pecten, that unique engine that guarantees a flawlessly clear image. And finally, that incredible density of cells resolves the world with a kind of high-definition clarity that we can only dream of. And in the end, these aren't just a collection of cool biological facts. They all combine to create a completely different sensory world, a reality that's painted in colors we're blind to, and focused with a sharpness we will never experience. And that kind of leaves you with one last big thought. When we look out at the world around us, what other layers of reality, what other secret signals and hidden patterns are we completely blind to? What else are we missing?